Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm Damian Hill, sitting down with Jordan Kazze, getting ready for her next title defense, which is your fourth title defense.
Third defense, fourth for the
Fourth title. Okay, yeah. What do you know about your opponent, and what do you expect from her?
So I always do my homework on my opponents. Doesn't matter who it is. I think it's an essential part of the game. But it's interesting because this fight in particular, I know she's going to be my opponent with the most experience, but I haven't focused as much on what she does or what she may do like I have in the past. I don't know if that's just my training going to a new place, but I do know she's from South Dakota, so she's from out of town. She's coming to my hometown, which is an advantage for me. And she's 6'3". She calls herself the jiu-jitsu practitioner, so that'll be a good test for me. Since I know I've heard plenty of people mention like, oh, she's overrated. She's not. I don't think she's going to be good till I see her on the ground. This and that. So I get the haters may be able to see that this fight. I don't know, and she's gonna be tough. That's all I really know. Training for this fight, I kind of came off my fight camp from LFA, so we just kind of rolled right into this one. I showed Tom and Kelly her most recent video, which has been kind of dated now. I think she's been been out of the cage for like a year and a half or something like that. Okay. So I showed them the video and they just said, all right, let's just keep working. They really didn't think, we needed like a specific game plan. That's not really their style anyways. They just, they say it's amateur, just go out there. Let's see what you can do. That's usually what Tom tells me. He doesn't really usually say like, okay, so the first round, we're going to do this, this, and this. Second round, this, this, this. Nope. He just says, all right, go out there and show me what you can do. Okay, coach.
Yeah, and then he adds his critiques in between rounds on what went right, what went wrong, type things like that. Tom Smith is one of the best coaches in Minnesota right now, and the gym has a really good jiu-jitsu reputation. So anybody that has any questions about your ground game, I can't wait to see what you do if it even does go to the ground, because it's not like you don't have answers to those questions, And granted that you have a really high finish rate with your hands. I think only one fight went to a decision. One of your victories went to a decision.
Yep. So 6-1, one went to a decision, and the other one I lost by TKO. It was my second fight. But every other fight I've been able to capture the finish, and that's. I don't really focus on winning when I go in there. I really focus on when I'm going to finish, and I think that's what makes me dangerous. Is I'm not worried about winning or losing. I'm just looking at where I can capitalize. And, so that's kind of the game plan for this one and all the other ones after this. So.
Yeah. No, I like that style, too, because when you go into a fight, and like you said with Tom, like going into a fight thinking that, oh, this is what we're going to do first round, second round, third round. I mean, you block out everything else and you try to focus so much on that, and it might not be working. But if you go in there just with the vague game plan of I'm going to do what is working, you adapt and you change for what you need to do. Because if you go out there and think that I'm just going to go and stand and bang, and then it's not working for you, but you have plenty of takedown opportunities, you might not take those opportunities because you're stuck on a simple mindset.
Right. And just like, I feel like for her, I always look at what makes my opponent dangerous. So with Shannon at the LFA, I felt like what made her. Sorry, I live downtown. It gets a little loud.
Yeah, same here. I had to close all the windows just to make sure it doesn't backtrack here.
With Shannon at the LFA, I was like, okay, what makes her most dangerous? What makes her most dangerous is I don't have any film on her really for LFA or any kind of MMA fight, so that makes her dangerous because I have no idea what she's gonna do. So with this opponent, what makes her dangerous is that to me is that she has had a year and a half off, and I don't know what she's going to do, because in a year and a half she could have totally developed and changed, and that's another reason why I really don't have a set in stone game plan, but I know where my strengths are, and I can confidently say I'm more than ready. Would be happy if it was on the feet or on the ground. I know my first couple fights, the only thought I had was, dear Lord, please don't let them take me down, because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. But now, like, I am totally confident. Like, okay, she takes me down, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I don't think people realize the caliber of training partners I have at Spartan Martial Arts that are my size. So it just makes the training camp easier, because I have training partners that I train primarily with striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all the groups that I need. I have adequate training partners, and they're all very high level. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm hoping, Three Rivers is where I started, and I'm going to bring it full circle and go defend that title again. And I'm fighting with my husband, so it's going to be a really cool night.
Oh, he's on the card as well?
Yep. He's making his debut. He's done kickboxing and jiu-jitsu tournaments, but this is his first MMA fight.
I think you guys will probably be the first MMA team couple that I've ever met, that I've ever been introduced to, just because, I know Tom has his background in martial arts, and Kelly Cobalt, she's still active fighter, so, but I didn't know them at the same time while they were both competing at the same time. How special is that to you, the fact that you guys can both go out there and possibly get a win with each other?
It means a lot, because I for those that don't know, I met Nick at MMA, actually, where we previous trained Next Level Combat. We met there. So it's really, MMA in our relationship's really special, because without it, we would have never met. And just to fight on the same card in my hometown area means even more to me and to us, I know, because obviously he's part of my family now. And the promotion itself, I speak very highly of it, because although it is considered a smaller promotion, I think Eric Anderson is the top promoter in the Midwest, because he treats all of his fighters very well. And I just get a very good vibe and caring feeling from him, not just, the kind of cliche promoter feeling you can get from other promoters. It's different with Eric, so I really speak highly of his show, and it just keeps growing, getting bigger, and his cards are unreal. I think that him being such a great promoter, like the high level fighters want to fight for him, so he's just getting these cards that are better and better, and it's nice, it's fun.
Yeah.
I love Free River Throwdown. I will suggest anyone to go fight for them.
Yeah, no, he definitely does put on a great show, and he is one of the better promoters around right now. Regardless if people think that it's a smaller show or not, like you said, the respect that he shows the fighters, the teams, and the fans that come there to support his show, all of that. I mean, it's on another level with him. Just like some promoters act like they're too cool for school. They don't need to necessarily thank the fans that show up to the fights or whatever. And I'm like, I've never seen Eric not in a conversation while I was at a show, and I was lucky enough to fight for him before. And actually, the birthday of Trash Talk is April 28th, the day after your fight, which Trash Talk was started at Three Rivers also.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the first time I started interviewing fighters. The first interview that I did was Josh Clark, who's my teammate who was fighting on Three Rivers, and then the very first fighter that I interviewed that was not part of my team and I had no affiliation with was Alfonso Bell, and then he goes out and wins by knockout in the first round. It made me feel really good, and then we gave a breakdown of the standout fights in the card, and that's when I recommended that you be nominated for Knockout of the Year. it was a great night, and I mean, it was fun to start off Trash Talk at that card, and then to also be here a year later, seeing you fight and defending your title again.
Yeah.
Is there any more teammates or anybody else you'd like to thank, sponsors you'd like to shout out before we wrap it up?
Well, as always, Tom Schmitz. I can't speak highly enough of that guy. He's invested a lot of time and energy into me as an amateur fighter. And of course, Kelly, everyone at Spartan Martial Arts. We'd be here for another 15 minutes if I rattled off everyone. But some of my primary training partners that I really appreciate have been Krista Munson, Chris Datchell, Sean John, Yoshi, Randy, Van, Yama, the Goon, Becky. She's rolling with me a lot. So thank you guys. You guys, I wouldn't have the success I do without you. Of course, my husband, who's been my rock. And then my first official sponsor, 3P Boxing. That's with Mike Lewis. He's
it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
He's opening up a 24-hour-a-day gym in Woodbury, so go check it out if you're interested in boxing. He's really focused on people first getting into boxing or a lot of the youth. I stay working with him to keep my hands crisp because I think I watched another interview of yours, but you're like, yeah, if you get good at something, you kind of stop training it. So Mike really helps me keep my hands where they're supposed to be and just keep developing. So I think that's everyone now.
Yeah.
Thanks to you and Trash Talk for having me on. It's kind of nice to just get more people asking me to interview and stuff to kind of get a little more noticed. Going to kind of hopefully go for a run and show people what Minnesota women's MMA is all about this year. So yeah, I just appreciate that too. Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, no, thank you for being on the show because you're definitely one of Minnesota's baddest women. And if you ever make it to the next stage, I want to be able to brag that I was able to interview you before you made it. So I really do appreciate it. As much as I like to create a platform for the fighters, there's a little bit of personal gain that I'm looking for also.
Right on.
Yeah. But thank you again, and you have a good one and good luck in your fight.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
He doesn't need any of the smoke. Like I said, if you can't take this, inhale the smoke, don't talk about the smoke.